Welcome to episode 2 of the Texas NORML podcast. Today is Monday, January 20th. This week we're talking about an issue that's sometimes sensitive when we're talking about charity organizations and political work. Money. The root of all evil, so they say.
Yeah, it's also what makes the world go round, though. At least the political world.
Right. Yeah. So now we're not talking about like bribes or anything sketchy or wrong per se. It's just that spending the amount of time that it takes to move these laws forward, it's really more than most of us can and are willing to handle and take on after coming home from a 40-plus hour week at work.
Yeah. When Texas NORML takes in money, it goes towards operating costs, space to work, and more. We have a sister organization, Foundation for an Informed Texas, and that spends money on purely educational stuff. Things like rural television ads, rural education workshops, and advocacy workshops.
Yeah. So currently we have people doing trainings throughout Texas about activism and the state of laws heading into our next legislative session. All of this costs money. Something that's changed recently for Texas NORML, and when I say recently as 2015, is the addition of our first paid staff member.
Yeah. As the NORML chapter located in the state capitol, we've always been in a position to take actions directly with legislators. We've been meeting them in the halls, in the offices where they work. We're the ones that get to talk to them one-on-one, kind of year-round. And as more and more states have legalized, we've found partners outside of the state and in the state who see the opportunity in Texas to get this changed, and they want to support.
But we did start to notice pretty quickly that our opponents and our potential allies were working on this full time. They're reaching out to our volunteer executive director as if she was sitting at a desk working to change laws here in Texas. She wasn't. She was at her day job, keeping bills paid for her family, just like all of us. Meanwhile, we're up against lobby organizations desperate to keep Texans in jail, and they are paid up and ready to go.
We had to start taking our organization more seriously. We had to begin paying a staff member, basically. So we started paying a staff member to take on this leadership role in a more fully engaged way. We started paying an executive director, Jax Finkel, in 2015. We felt it was a step needed to move seriously towards our goal of legalization.
Yeah, so now we have somebody at a desk taking calls, heading up to the Capitol, talking to key players on committees and listening to their concerns while also keeping an eye on the bills forming and going forward for this next session. It's a big job, and we're still not tackling it completely. We need more and more people, more staff, more volunteers.
More money, more energy. And those two things combine in membership.
Yeah, donations are great, but just money doesn't actually change laws. It's always going to come down to time and effort spent talking to the right folks in the proper committees and at the perfect times. And that's just people. These are people. These are living, breathing, hardworking, pot-loving people.
And that's making sure that we have voters in those politicians' districts, the politicians that are on the committees that matter, who can call offices on the right afternoons, right before the right votes. So it's a complex, tiring ground game. And all politics is like this. Doing it properly requires a lot of people's time and energy, or we'll all burn out. So membership is about volunteering, but it's also about your dues donation, your name when we say we're X number strong, and very importantly, your willingness to connect to a group of people all working for the same common goal of legalizing cannabis. Donations are great, but members are donors who are also saying, I also want to put my energy towards this, not just my money. So members become donors that are a combined voting bloc, a unified voice, and a mobilized lobby.
Yeah. Here to talk more about where that money goes and why membership and donations are so very, very important and more is going to be our Texas NORML treasurer, Cheryl Nelson. Cheryl's been increasing her role as an activist over the last few years and recently stepped up into a board member position. Her accounting background has made her a great choice for treasurer, and we're excited to have her on the show today. Everybody help me welcome Cheryl Nelson. Hey, Cheryl, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you very, very much for being here.
Happy to be here.
So Cheryl, describe how you came to take on the role as treasurer for Texas NORML, and also touch on why that role is so important.
I came to be the treasurer I started off volunteering in 2013 is when I started looking at NORML as a way to be involved with getting cannabis legalized. I'm a single mom, and I was concerned that what would happen if I got caught with it, and I cared about changing the laws, and so I started looking more at NORML, and then I started volunteering. I became a member first, and then I started volunteering, and more so I was just getting more and more involved, and I started coming to board meetings and just attending as an advisor and paying attention, and eventually I started having opinions about what NORML was doing, and I thought I could help direct certain things, and just by being dependable with the board, when it was time for a new treasurer to be voted in, I was asked if I would consider it, and I was happy to because I'm an accountant and I know about money, and I'm happy to get everything very businessy for NORML, because that's one thing that's been hard is that it's a grassroots organization, and so like pulling it together into like a really well-running business is important, and that's why me becoming the treasurer is an important thing, because I have that experience and I have connections in the accounting industry. So if I have questions, I can go elsewhere. But I'm making sure I'm paying attention to the money right now. I'm seeing what's coming in, and I'm enjoying utilizing one of my career skills as a hobby. I don't think this is more than a hobby at this point.
Right. So I know money is money, but as treasurer to the Texas NORML board, do you see a difference, or can you touch on the difference between just a random donation versus membership dues?
Donations are for Texas NORML are put towards our business costs and towards everything to keep us running and to help us with our activist work. But it's dollars coming in that we put to good use. However, membership dues are coming from people who are, taking a little extra step to be involved with us, and becoming a member, having membership numbers tracking and going up is really important for us, because we can show if we are growing as an organization that we can get grants and money like that. So membership dues are more than just the money coming in. They are helping us show that we're a growing organization, and it gets people a little bit more invested in what we do.
Yeah. So you're our treasurer for the Texas NORML board. You also sit as an advisor for our sister organization, Foundation for Informed Texas. Mm-hmm. Can you maybe touch on the difference between a donation to FIT versus a donation to Texas NORML, not only in a tax deduction sense, but mm-hmm. also kind of how those funds are allocated?
Yes, they're definitely used differently, because Texas NORML is a 501. I always get it wrong. 501c4. We are designated differently than a lot of other nonprofits, because we work with lobbying and we work with politics, and our organization as a nonprofit can really stand for certain political movements, whereas a 501c3 needs to be a little bit more agnostic about what they're doing. They're certainly not getting political, and with when your money goes to Texas NORML, we're using that for lobbying and activist things. Our veterans program is really important right now, because a lot of veterans are in need of cannabis. And so we put money into our veterans program to spread the word that to all the people who need it. And it takes money to get people to where they need to be. We need to print signs and paperwork. It's funny that it's just so much paperwork, so much printing. And then when it comes to FIT, that is educational. And when you donate to FIT, that money is going towards educating the community, educating legislators about the benefits of cannabis, and just putting the facts out there. And that money is used really interestingly. We we get involved with conferences and send out lots. That's more paperwork we do. So when you donate to Texas NORML, it's not tax deductible because we are a different kind of organization, but it's really important that we get money in that group because that's where we're paying for people to help us with get down to the Capitol and organize these things. It's very different. If you want your money to go to the real like activism part of it, Texas NORML is the place to go. But there's people who have a whole bunch of money and they want to donate to get a tax write-off. FIT is where that money can go, and it is going towards educating the public and educating our legislators. And they're both very important. They both need lots of money.
Yeah. So as a new board member, what would you like to see Texas NORML accomplish over the next year in preparation for the 87th Texas legislative session that starts in January of 2021?
Oh, I have lots of thoughts about that. I talk about that a lot with Les. I would like to, I want to see more activist events. I want more opportunities to get engaged with the community and getting people out to understand what they can do to both speak to their legislators and also to the people in their own community, because a lot of it has been about changing public perception, which fortunately has really started to change in the past couple of years. But we got to keep working at it. And I want to see more activist opportunities where people feel like they can get involved.
Yeah. So what would you say Texas needs to know right now? Anything else that you'd like to say out there that our listeners need to hear to prepare themselves to go forward for the next legislative session?
I think that they need to, I'd like them to know that we're a really good group of people, actually. When you are becoming an activist with Texas NORML, you're going with other people up to the Capitol. You're going with other people to your legislator. You're communicating with other people in our group. And so you're not alone. When you come to NORML, you're getting a group of people who lots of people have been doing it for a while. And what we want is a bunch of new people who are learning from the people who have been doing it.
Yeah. That's great.
Something that I wanted to jump in with, Cheryl, when you were talking earlier about the difference in FIT and Texas NORML, I know when we started up FIT, or when it started up, the kind of, common knowledge was that of a certain donor level, they would only give if it were tax deductible, and that no one would ever give to a C4 because it's simply not tax deductible. We were never going to get these like really big donations and stuff. And that's definitely true that there's a different tier of money available to a tax deductible organization. That tax deduction then, like you said, limits what you can do with it. And so FIT can make sure that Texans have the information to be having the conversation about whether or not to legalize cannabis, but FIT can't back any legislation particularly or push at the Capitol at all. And one of the arguments that I wanted to make as membership director when I took on that role was that giving your money to Texas NORML, whether that is in membership dues or whether that's straight donations, that goes towards a particular set of actions that tax deductible organizations can't take, so that we can actually go. And I also, at the time, when I started volunteering for Texas NORML, I didn't understand what lobbying meant. Like, are we literally going to lunch and just like suitcase of money? Like, how does politics work? I didn't know. And it's like you said, that money gets spent in such mundane, boring ways. Like, it's paperwork, and it is lunches sometimes because somebody has to just be at the Capitol for 12 hours to try to catch 15 minutes with the right person between committees or something. And it's weird stuff like that. And it's why I always want to encourage people to, I get it, it's end of year and your company wants a tax deductible donation, but it's why I never want to just seed that ground of like, oh, well, nobody would ever give money to a non-tax deductible organization. Like, no. There's a good reason to give your money to Texas NORML and to join as a member and join that community and have action there.
When you are donating to Texas NORML, yes, you're sacrificing a tax deduction. And that's why, FIT does make a lot more money than NORML does, because people are happy to throw money at FIT because they're getting that deduction. But when it comes to NORML, we're asking people to help support the activism part of it.
Yeah. We all want a tax break. I get that. But in this space, we all want this to get done. We want to legalize cannabis in Texas, and that's going to cost money. And that's going to cost money that sometimes maybe isn't tax deductible. We need donations for Texas NORML. We need membership growth for Texas NORML so that we can spend money on lobbying efforts and get this job done. Absolutely.
Yeah. We should go ahead and tell people you can go to texasnormal.org/join, JOIN. Just drop the T off of the end of it. I know you know how to spell it. And texasnormal.org/join, and you can be a member right now. I cracked Dave up, so let's get back to that shot.
Absolutely. Like you said, texasnormal.org/join. Also, follow us, like us, share, subscribe on all your social medias. And Cheryl, thank you so very, very much for your time. Texas, thank you for your time as well. We'll see you next time.